everyone. It is Liz Miller, Constellation Research, back again with another CR CX Convo. This time, let's talk about customer success. So, I recently wrote a blog asking what I thought was a simple question, which was, is customer success still successful? And it has really sparked a whole lot of debate online, which I am loving, because I think while some people have just assumed that customer success is just so broken that we need to walk away from it entirely, others feel like customer success is the lifeblood of their customer relationship and that ongoing dynamic that they have post-transaction, where they've been able to see their customers grow and succeed and drive value, and they love customer success and their customers love customer success. But the vast majority of folks have come back to me with kind of an easy request. At least it's an easy request for me to keep talking about it. So that's what we want to do here. So let's dig in a little bit on customer success, because when we ask the question, is it successful? I think we fundamentally have to ask why we have invested in customer success to begin with. And yes, the investment is in two parts. The investment comes certainly from the vendor who has implemented a customer success program that has brought on really successful success teams. They've brought on talent that drives these teams forward. So that's an investment. But the customer also makes an investment. The customer, the buyer of the solution, is also making the investment of the time and the resources that it takes to not only successfully set up a customer success roadmap and path forward, but to also have that ongoing dialogue. The business goals that you had when you first bought the solution can quickly and easily change, as we all know. So are you investing the time in having that conversation with your partners, with that customer success team, to ensure that the business goals that you need to meet today are still reflected in the transformational technologies that you bought maybe months, for some people, maybe even years ago? In the blog that I wrote, I talked about a company, Associa. They have a really interesting business and a very interesting field service need and demand, in that they manage service and they manage service requests across a very broad portfolio of properties. These properties might be residential, they might be industrial, they might be commercial, they might be a senior living community, it might be a condo, it might be an office building. So the types of requests that are going to come in on not just a daily basis, but it feels like an hourly basis, can be drastically different. It might be, we need to fix the air conditioning unit on the top of a building one day. It might be, we're paving the entire community the next. So keeping all of those moving parts and keeping the requests and keeping all the workflows, making sure that the entirety of that supply chain of service is in a visible spot, is being managed, and is never being held up because one change down the line, transitioning a piece to cloud, transitioning services to cloud, suddenly, unintentionally broke the entire system. So when Associa leaned into the idea of transformation, they also leaned in to a solution and a customer success plan that their partner, IFS, with their IFS Field Service solution, recommended, which was a premium service. A lot of times people don't want that premium service and, oh, I should be successful. But Associa understood something about their own business. They understood their resource. They understood that they might be resource constrained as they started to look at either problem solving, getting things up and running, ensuring that transformational projects were still moving forward. They needed access. They needed access to scale. They needed access to talent, and they got that. They were able to, because of their subscription-led premium service, they were able to say, yes, we want to go live with this. Hey, we've hit a problem. Now we need to scale. Now we need to scale to bring the right expertise in, to bring the right engineers in, the right teams, but we're not going to hire all these folks. So they were able to do that and get up and running. So they were able to get scale, but they were also able to achieve velocity And that is what keeps transformation moving forward. Oftentimes, when we start to think about customer success, we're not thinking about that scale moving velocity forward. Yes, we can scale quickly. We can expand how many seats, we can expand who is using the solution. But if we don't have access to the right teams, we don't have access to the right resources and expertise, we might not be able to add that velocity that gets us moving forward. The other thing that I keep hearing feedback on, and I love that this is part of the conversation, is that value has to be defined early. I think a lot of times when we identify the problem, we go in with a hammer and we're like, I'm going to get this problem. I'm going to go hit it so hard that this problem is going to be done. And I'm going to bring on this tool and this solution because that's my hammer. Challenge is, though, we've identified the problem. We've even identified the solution. We haven't identified the business value that the organization expects us to deliver because this problem is solved. We got to shift from the status quo, but shifting from the status quo is still going to require that velocity to move forward. So how do we get there? How do we keep that ball rolling, so to speak? I think a lot of that has to do with how we partner with customer success. And this has got to be a two-way partnership. How do we define those not only needs and requirements, the goals, the projects, all of that awesome project management stuff that, gosh, those customer success teams are so great at. But how do we also define the business value? And how do we keep coming back to it? Customer success teams are most successful when they can be proactive and they can iterate and constantly build. Because at the end of the day, while it can be hard to realize that we are being successful, it's even harder to figure out if success is a destination. And here's the hint, it's not. Success is a constantly moving pin. And if you aren't redefining what that business value needs to be and is, you're never going to reach the pin because the pin's going to keep moving and you're not going to have the vision. You're not going to have the visibility to be able to keep running towards it. Right now, so many of us feel like we're chasing it. So when you add a customer success program that's really just all about expanding the spots, expanding the subscription, how many seats do you have? How many more products? You're part of our land and expand. It's not necessarily successful success, is it? You might be successful in an intermediate sale, but the length and the durability of that relationship with your customer, that's on the line. If you are the customer, are you going to start looking elsewhere? The questions keep coming up. But I really like the success that Associa was able to achieve with their partners. When IFS came in and said, listen, it's not just about the tools, it's also about the expertise. It's about the solutions. It's about your business value. It was about understanding how transformation teams at the heart of the business, running the most mission critical pieces of an organization, would be judged. What is that value they need to reach? And that was the center point that they could come back to and say, do we need to reassess? What does business value look like today? Have those ongoing conversations. So this is going to be an ongoing conversation because customer success, again, when it's not a destination, has to be an ongoing conversation. So let's keep having that conversation. I'll come back with a couple more thoughts. But in the meantime, if you haven't had a chance to check out the blog, go read it. It's not that long, I promise. Okay, it might be longer, but I promise it's okay. There's a great case study in there, but there are also a couple key questions that I really challenge you to ask. Have you thought of these things as you have thought about customer success? So until the next time we have this convo, thanks for joining.